says, in housing, in welfare, they have tried everything to help Black people out. I personally believe that white people need reparations at this. I was telling my girlfriend, I said, white people need reparations. White people need reparations from the government because they didn't just send y'all Negroes back across the seas after they freed y'all. But white people have been suffering with y'all for 200 years and they sick of y'all. It's never enough. It's never enough. You want freedom? Okay, they gave you that. You want welfare? They gave you that. They gave you DEI. They gave you everything, and it's never enough. Now you say you want reparations. I seen what y'all did with them COVID checks. So reparations ain't gonna do nothing.
Attention, player haters and overrated disbelievers of all kinds. I stand before you today 10 toes down as the bearer of bad news. Y'all done fucked up.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscriber die trying. I call this like the sunken place conservative, right? This has been happening really since on social media since around the first time President Trump ran for president, where you got a lot of these Black people who are really, they're Black, but sometimes they're not Black Americans, sometimes they are. More times than not, you found out they weren't Black Americans, but you have these Black people who aren't, who mentally act like they're not Black people. That's why you hear the term, those Black people and them and they, because you've seen Black folks say we when it comes to like white people, and seeing them say them when it comes to Black people and they're Black. You get what I'm saying? So it's a sunken place thing, but a lot of this derives in really a lot of grifting because it makes money, hypocrisy, a lot of stupidity, and twisting of facts and not knowing history. That's why I say stupidity, because you can't tell me you went to school and you're educated and you know all the stuff about America, and then when somebody brings up historical things in America, you just go completely dumb. So let's start with remember when you had the Black conservatives talk about you need to get off the Democratic plantation. You need to stop, believing in the Democrats and get off their plantation and basically decide we're gonna Brexit. And everything they said Black people were doing with the Democratic Party, they did with the Republican Party, but it didn't count. They were on a Republican plantation. They drank all the Kool-Aid. You need to get your own and pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but they were getting funded by white people. Complete hypocrisy. But then you have this thing where I think it's partially a class issue because I've noticed there's been a lot of suburban Black people who play the game like, how you came up in, they're not necessarily Jack and Jill, or they wind up being in the suburbs later. And this kind of, I'm not necessarily the talented 10th, but I'm better than you Negroes. You know what I'm saying? And because of my political ideology. And it's like, oh, okay. All right. And then time and time again, they were defending things that you couldn't defend. But it was like it was just trolling Black America. Anytime something happened in Black America, that was messed up, it's Black America's fault. Trayvon Martin, they was on the side of George Zimmerman. Ahmaud Arbery, they was on the side of those people. I forgot the clowns' names. Time and time again. And the crazy part about it is the only one they held firm to was they were against George Floyd. He did drugs, and it's like, yeah, he wasn't doing drugs that day. Sorry, but everything was an issue. Same thing. This young lady talking about, the reparations. We gave you welfare. Welfare is not reparations. Like, they should have sent y'all back there. Y'all, okay, because you wouldn't have got sent back. Because what do you call that? You got that reverse Villalago. They gave y'all DEI. It's funny to be so political. Same thing with affirmative action, and not know that white people, it was predominantly white women that got affirmative action. It was predominantly white women that got DEI. But hey, when you got to throw black people under the bus, you just act like you don't know this stuff. They gave y'all welfare. You do realize the welfare rules are completely different. You see all this fraud from welfare to food stamp, Medicare fraud. It's not really black people doing this stuff. But hey, we're going to overlook that, which is part of this issue where dumping all of America's dysfunction on Black America, while all of the evidence comes out over and over again that it's not Black people. Same thing when she's talked about, the COVID and the PPP loans. Yeah, some Black people got arrested, but so you didn't see all the other people. That's what happened. You didn't see them. You didn't even see in the beginning that the Los Angeles Lakers was trying to was filing for PPP loans. Ruth Chris was filing for PPP loans. But see, other white people got caught up in that a lot, but not a big deal. Because, and I've said this before, dysfunction and criminality is not dysfunction and criminality when you take the black face off of it. You know what I'm saying? It's not. So this is what I mean, these sunken place conservatives. Then you have this issue where you can't get around this, where you're all in, it's all black people's fault. And if you just do what the nice white people say, because they got the great plan, they're the smartest people in the world, that's your problem. You're not Christian enough. You're not a family oriented. You don't have American traditions or whatever that BS y'all on, right? Then when all of those things come back to bite you, because all of those ideologies actually don't work when it comes to making the country better, then it's well, they're not implementing this the right way. But people told you it wasn't going to work. But those people were too black to tell you it wasn't going to work, because you was in a sunken place. You're going to stay in a sunken place. And then, on the flip side of that, I'm gonna throw black people under the bus concept. And this is a continuous thing. You get into this political BS. Let's throw black people under the bus, and what winds up happening is you're not around black folks. You're really not. So now you just talking a face, like you just like the white guys, the wannabe Hispanic wannabe white guys, the Asian wannabe white guys, all the other, pseudo white-ish people and white people who all of a sudden just blame black people for everything, and then they're nowhere around black people, and then life is still crumbling around them, and now it ain't black people's fault because black people ain't even in the room. Then let's blame the Jews. Now let's blame the illegals. So who you gonna blame? Like, think about it. Black people we're not part of all these issues. Now, when all the quote-unquote illegals leave, they won't be a part of these issues. You get what I'm saying? Then you're going to have an issue with the Jewish people. But they're white people. So y'all really not going to do anything to them, like mess with them like that. I know already. But when they do have issues, they're not going to be part of the issue either. And then you're going to have to address what? White America's incompetence. And then it's like, I don't know what to do. And then, just like this young lady and there's the Hodge twins and Brandon Tatum and Jason Whitlock, all of them, Candace Owens. What winds up happening is they're the only black people in the room. So now they're going to get all the black hatred from the people that they're so friends with and so America first with. Now they're going to be the hard R, and they're just going to sit there because most of them they have no backbone. They're going to sit there and take it with a smile on their face because you know they sold themselves out for a dollar to, and then one day it's going to be too much, and then they're going to try to be black and have these pseudo reachbacks, kind of like Candace Owens. We're going to reach in black America. It's just, you need to realize white people didn't do slavery. It was the Jews, and come together. And it's like, first of all, you Caribbean, which helps me say this. There were four major players in slavery in America: the British, the French, the Portuguese, and Spain, and Spaniards. So last time I checked, y'all don't consider none of them groups Jewish. That's just regular history. Regular history. Because what do you speak on this? What four languages are spoken on this side of the hemisphere? English, French, Spanish, Portuguese. So what we talking about? Nobody's speaking, Yiddish, which Jewish people spoke for the most part. Not people speaking Hebrew now, but nobody's speaking Yiddish over here. Nobody's speaking Hebrew over here. Stop it. But that's can we get back together? It's like, no, stay over there with all the people who are the great people and the wonderful people and the people who pseudo want the race war thing. People, stay over there. Stay in a sunken place. And when they throw dirt on you, because you already down there, and they bury you alive, there will be no black brothers and sisters to help you because we won't know you there. But if everything our fault, cool. Just remember, you're gonna be the target over there, not us. But I'm done. You tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Peace.